Good day, students. So our topic today is about nature of organization and management. This is your teacher, General Budaslak, your course instructor. All right. So in our first slide, talks about nature of organization. What is an organization? All right. So an organization is a collection of people who work together and coordinate their actions to achieve a wide variety of goals. All right. So what is the formal and informal organization? All right. So formal organization characterized by international structure of roles and responsibilities coordinated towards achievement of common goals. Okay. So informal organization also is characterized by group of people within the organization having common values, interests, and desires. Okay. So example, the various clubs and organizations, employees meeting together during tea and lunchtime. Okay. So there is also informal organization plays an important role in a formal structure, right? So there are principles of organizations. All right. So what are the principles of organizations? First is division of labor, unity of command. Third is authority and responsibility. Fourth is span of control. All right. So division of labor. Okay. So division of labor, breaking down of jobs into simple and repetitive tasks. All right. So example, individuals specialize in part of job. Let's say, for example, assembly line production. Okay. And for division of labor, there's also disadvantage or advantages or disadvantages. Okay. This is always part of the operation. So advantages is efficient use of diversity of skilled or unskilled labor. Then repetition improves performance skill. Then no time wasted in putting away tools and equipment while changing jobs. Then training for specialization is more efficient from organization's perspective. All right. So disadvantage or what are the disadvantages? Okay, disadvantages leads to boredom. All right, fatigue, stress, low productivity, poor quality, absenteeism. You know what else? High turnover. All right. So to overcome this, employees were given a variety of activities. All right. So what else? Okay, yeah. Okay, next is unity of command. All right. So unity of command. No members of organization should report to more than one superior. Okay, this is what it means for unity of command. All right. So this is to ensure the conflicting demand and priorities are not received by the employee. All right, so modern organizations have employees reporting to more than one superior. Example, in metrics organization structure. All right, so yeah, that authority and responsibility. So it is the right inherent in manager to give orders and be obeyed. All right, so required to coordinate activities in an organization can be delegated to subordinates for proper functioning and efficient performance. All right, the responsibility comes with authority. So two types of responsibility. All right, so what are the two types of responsibility? First is operating responsibility and then ultimate responsibility. All right, so what is operating responsibility? So operating responsibility can be delegated to subordinate. All right, so for ultimate responsibility, it is cannot be cannot be delegated, of course. Now this is opposite for operating responsibility, so remains with the manager who is accountable for the actions and omissions. All right, so next is span of control. So span of control refers to the number of people the manager controls. All right, so difficult to determine the optimum number, right? So narrow span leads to many hierarchies in a tall organization structure. Wide span will result in few hierarchies and a wider structure. All right. So scalar principle and departmentalization. All right. So what is a scalar principle? All right. So scalar principle is authority and responsibility should flow in a clear and broken line from top to bottom. This implies that organization is a hierarchy. All right. But for the departmentalization is breaking down activities into specialized groups. Purpose is to specialize activities, simply task of manager, and maintain control Yeah, so even the theory of masses just following criterion for departmentalization. Like for example, group simple activities together based on likeness of persons, qualifications, or common purpose. Okay, so activity may be grouped with other activities with which is used. All right. Okay. So what else? Okay, so departmentalization activities to be grouped to encourage competition among departments or avoid friction amongst departments. All right. So when difficulty in making defined or definite distinctions into activities, group them together. All right. So functions requiring close coordination should be grouped together. Okay, so span of management. So no ideal number for management span. Okay, so no ideal number for management span. Okay, so according to Davis, no, he identified two spans. First is operative span of lower level managers, and second is executive span of middle and top management. All right, so this according to Davis. So suggested that operative span should be around 30 and executive span not more than 6. All right, so today focus is on identifying factors that make span more effective. All right, what else? So forms of business organization. First is private enterprise. Second is cooperative sector enterprise. Then third is public sector enterprise. Okay, so these are the three forms of business organization. All right. So what is private enterprise? It's composed of sole proprietary trader, partnership, company, or private company or public company. Okay, so this is for private enterprise. What about for cooperative sector enterprise? Okay, so cooperative sector enterprise consists with cooperative society and cooperative store. All right. So public sector as well is public sector enterprise is consists with government departments, government companies, and statutory corporation. All right. Okay. What else? Yeah. So an even statutory board of commissions, no, that is a part as well. Next is this is the business organization structure. So as you can see that the structure of organization, so it led by the CEO, the director, manager, but it depends on how you're gonna create your organization structure of your company. All right. So you can also put here the CEO, the secretary, and any member of the board. You can put also as well here, and also their functions. Of course, now you have to identify their functions. Each of the position must have their functions. Okay, so especially how they can delegate tasks to their lower members. All right, right. Okay. Next is definition of management. All right, so we have to know that the correct definition of management. Okay, so definition of management, effectiveness and efficient integration and coordination of resource to achieve the desired objectives. Okay, so, all right. So, thus, management is a process by which managers create a climate so that employee achieves both personal and organizational growth. Okay, so this implies process by which personal and organizational goals achieved. Process implies planning, organization, staffing, leading, and controlling functions of management. All right, so management process influenced by environment, external and internal. All right. So managers also act as facilitators for achieve of goals. All right. Okay. So next is the ultimate or goals of management. Okay. So there's also goals of management. Okay. So what is a goal of management? Ultimate aim of any business organization is to make profit. All right. So this is the main goal of any organization is to at least to earn profit. Okay. So even if you start a small business, your purpose is to earn, is to get or to earn profit. All right. So desirable aimed is to create a surplus. Okay. Achieved by creating and maintaining an environment in which individuals can achieve common organizational goals by spending minimum amount of time. money, material achieve, maximum personal satisfaction. Okay, so this goal is task related and maintenance related, or maintaining personal satisfaction. Okay, so another perspective of goal is to increase productivity. All right, so let's say for example, productivity is equals to output or input. Okay, so productivity also implies effectiveness and efficiency. All right, so efficiency gauged by attainment of objectives with judicious use of resources. Okay, so effectiveness as well gauged by attainment of objectives. Okay, so management concerned with not only achieving achievements or objectives, but achieving them efficiently. All right, okay, so here are the functions of manager. So what are the functions of manager? So first is planning, second is organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So these are the 5 functions or the basic functions of manager. All right. So, okay, so an individual who plans, all right. So what is the definition of manager? Okay, so it is an individual who plans, organizes, staffs, leads, and controls resources effectively. Okay, effectively and efficiently to attain organization. All right. Okay, or organizational goals. All right. So planning. Okay, so let's define first planning. Okay, this is the function of a manager. All right. So futuristic. Okay, for planning, it is a futuristic perspective, setting goals to meet the organization objectives. All right. So it involves forecasting, identifying threats and opportunities in external environment, strengths and weakness in internal environment. All right, so setting objectives and taking decision in course of actions to be taken to achieve the objectives. All right, and also determines where we are and where we would want to be, how to bridge this gap. All right, so manager plans to identify the most appropriate course of action to meet the future conditions. All right, so corporate planning department formulates strategic plan of organization. So long-term objectives, strategy, product or services, subsequently operational plan, delegate authority and responsibility to various units. All right, okay, so next is organizing. All right. So organizing it is grouping of activities. All right. So allocating authority among members so that they can achieve the organization's goals or organization goals. All right. So function creates organization structure, delegation of authority creates hierarchy. Okay. Goals of organization determine type of structure. Example, startup require simple structure. Okay. Manufacturing organization require classical organization. All right. So in government department require bureaucratic organization. All right. So when regards to staffing, all right. So it involves manning and keeping the different positions manned in the organization structure. So achieved by identifying the skills required, recruiting, selecting, and appraising training and developing organizational personnel. All right. So leading, okay, the fourth one. So most important function of the manager, so influence the subordinates to direct efforts towards achievements of organizational goal or organization goal. All right. So motivate and maintain an effective system of communication. All right. So management should understand the needs of subordinates and help them in satisfying them and coordinating them with organizational objectives. All right. Next. All right. So controlling. Okay. So controlling. So controlling is to ensure that the actions of the subordinates are as per plan and lead towards the organization or organization goal. All right. So it involves setting of standards of performance and strategic point. All right. Measuring actual performance, like for example, monitoring and reviewing activities of supervisor. Okay, so taking corrective action wherever required. So this helps manager to ensure that actions of subordinates are leading the organization towards its stated goals. All right. So manager or managerial functions perform all levels. Okay. So CEO to supervisor in all organizations, small, large organization, hospital, manufacturing, service, NGO, and etc. Right. So top level managers spend more time in planning and organization and organizing rather. All right. So first level manager, so it is sometimes called a supervisor. So spend more time in leading. Okay, so top level manager functions at the macro level, right? So organization. So lower level manager operate a micro level. So it's individual and work group, right? All right. So next, okay. All right. So next is okay. So types of manager. All right. So there is also so-called hierarchy. So like what I mentioned earlier, know that there is also a hierarchy. Okay, so for types of manager. So first is first manager, second is middle manager, third is top manager. All right. So what is the function for first manager? All right. So first manager is the lowest level of managerial hierarchy. Okay. So it is sometimes called as supervisor. Okay. So in construction companies, it is also called as foreman or can be called also as junior manager. So the function is to supervise and direct non-managerial employees. Okay. So middle manager, so it's can be of more than one level. Okay. So it is more than one level to the first manager. All right. So for middle manager. So middle manager manages the direct first level managers and other operating employees. Okay. So major activity involved implementing policies of organization. Okay. So what about for top manager? So top manager responsible for overall management of organization. So set long-term goals for organization by studying and forecasting the external environment. All right. So functional. Okay. So this is another type of manager. So functionals like production, marketing, sales, HR, and etc. So responsible for one functional area. So general manager responsible for all the activities of the organization. All right. Okay. So management skills. So there is also management skills. So according to Katz, so he identified three basic skills, like for example, technical, human, and conceptual. All right. So for technical skills, okay, technical skills, it is ability to use tools, procedures, techniques, and knowledge of specialized skills. Examples: accountants, engineers, and doctors. Okay, so these are the examples for technical skills. What about human skill? Okay, so human skill is ability to work with, understand, and motivate other employees as individual and groups. All right. So next is the conceptual skill. So what is this conceptual skill? All right. So it is ability to see the organization as a whole, to recognize significant elements in a situation. So and two, understand the relationship among the elements. Okay. So cognitive ability to coordinate and integrate all the activities of the organization. Okay. So all skills are required at any level. Okay. So technical skills at lower levels, conceptual skills at higher level, and human skill are important at all levels. All right. Okay. So here, okay, roles of manager. All right. So okay, so we have or I have to define first the role of manager. So position that is acted by an individual in an organization. Okay. So manager plays several formal and informal roles. Okay. So informal role not prescribed by organization. So same person may have one role in one situation and another role in another situation. Okay, so according to Mensberg, 1973, he proposed that managerial roles under three categories. First is interpersonal role, second, informational role, and third is decisional role. Okay, so for interpersonal role, it is managing through people. Informational rule is also managing by information. Then decision role is managing through action. Okay. All right. So what about for interpersonal role? Okay, so there is a so-called figurehead, leader, liaison. Okay, so interpersonal role arises directly from formal authority. So figurehead, so it performs ceremonial role like greets visitors, clients, sign legal documents, and etc. Okay, so example, president or marketing manager, sales manager goes for lunch with clients. Okay, so that's an example for figurehead. What about for leader? So leader encourages subordinates to achieve organizations' objectives, right? So achieved by motivating subordinates, training, counseling, communicating with subordinates, and coordinating individuals' needs with that of organization. Okay, so next is the liaison. All right, so liaison, they are also important, right? So interacting with others outside organization like supplier, clients, government officials, business associates, etc. So they will be the one as well to process business permits and any other paperwork or any related permits from the government. All right, so that's needed or that is necessary for the company. Okay, next is informational role. Okay, so informational role, giving and receiving information. Okay, so monitor, disseminator, there is also spokesperson. Okay, so for monitor, so the rule is to seek and receive information, scan periodicals and reports, environment for information, and maintain personal contacts. All right, so the disseminator gives some information directly to subordinates. Then for spokesperson, it sends information to people outside the organization through speeches, reports, memos, interviews, and etc. Okay? So the spokesperson will be sometimes stands as in behalf of the person itself or the leader or the CEO itself. Okay? So role of manager, so the decision maker. Okay? So decision maker consists with entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, sorry. It's negotiator. Okay. So decision maker. So entrepreneur initiates development of project, identify new ideas, arrange for the resources. For disturbance handler, it acts as crisis manager, reacting to problems and pressures of the situation, resolves conflicts amongst subordinates. Okay, so resource allocator, the one decides who gets resources, scheduling, budgeting, setting priorities in his department. Then for negotiator, so he represents department during negotiation with union, suppliers, and the general defense interest of unit organization. Okay. All right. So please take note this because this is important. All right. So roles of manager. Okay. All right. So okay. Here. All right. So management challenges. Okay. So management challenges. So in modern business functions in a complex and intricate, sorry, not indicate, but it's intricate environment due to liberalization of the Indian economy's entry of the global market. Okay, so resulted in a new opportunities for growth and expansion. So increased threat of competition, no, survival and highly competitive industry are real challenge, right? So first is globalization. So globalization is a phenomenon by which markets and production in different countries are becoming increasingly interdependent due to dynamics of trade and goods and services and flow of capital and technology. Okay, so entry of MNC or MNCs in India, like for example, Honda, Ford, McDonald's, and etc. So Indian companies went global. Okay, so Indian companies linked to global market. Okay, so he had to follow regulations imposed by WTO, ISO, EU norms, right? The challenge for organization to reinvent themselves to meet global competition. Okay, so knowledge of management, all right? So knowledge of management, process of discovering and harnessing an organization's intellectual resources. Okay, so process of creating, capturing, sharing, and using knowledge. So knowledge managers identify these human assets and helps them generate new ideas, harness these ideas into successful innovations. So organizations that fails to develop a framework for utilizations will not have a long-term competitive advantage. So biggest challenge is managing intellectual capital. All right, take note to that. Okay, so next is internet. Okay, so internet management influenced by growth and communication facilities. Virtual teams, breaking geographical boundaries management must happen via the web. Okay, so internet helps managers keep in touch with partners, suppliers, and customers. Provides a challenge for identifying opportunities, no, and exploiting them quickly and more effectively than the competitor. Okay, so that's for internet. Okay, so I think that's all for now. So thank you, students. Again, this is your instructor, Mr. General Butaslak. Have a nice day. Goodbye, everyone.